Welcome to the Desert Vibe. We are back from our best of show, which was our last show right before the calendar page turned. I'm Glenn Gardner.
I'm Walt Richardson.
I'm Jamie Ray.
And we have a very special guest with us, Shawn Royer, in the house.
Hello.
Welcome on in,
guys?
Shawn.
How are you doing? I'm doing good.
Good. Great to have you here as we all embark on 2026. Want to let everybody know that we will be covering our various different pieces of turf when we get done talking with Shawn and talk about what's going on and what's happening musically across Arizona. But first, we want to get started with Shawn. And Shawn is really kind of a part two of a part one, at least to some extent. He's his own person. But oftentimes you are associated with another person who was on this show not that long ago. Do you want to talk about your collaboration there as we get started, and we'll just kind of take it from there?
Yeah, sure. My name is Shawn Royer again, and I have been working for over 20 years with Rhonda Hitchcock-Mast, and we've been doing a duo show for many years until recently. We met up with Freddie, our new percussionist, and we're called the Steady Kind now. But for years, we were just playing a lot of sports bars, restaurants, festivals, doing cover songs and mixed with some originals. But for about the last 10 years or so, we've been doing just original music. And we've assimilated kind of a back catalog that we've written with Randy Brown. And we're just trying to take our songs out to the masses now. And, we were for years, and we're still seeking a publishing deal, but we weren't releasing anything that we were doing. So all the songs were just gathering dust on our computers. And, we work with a producer in town here in Steve Parrish, and which was great. He's just made all of our songs. He's taken them to the next level in production. But we had all these, songs on our computer. And we're like, why don't we just start releasing some of this stuff? No, we haven't gotten any major interest from publishers, so we might as well just put them out there ourselves. So that's kind of what we're doing now. I'm just playing out and about, and as the Steady Kind, and with Freddie, and we're going to be putting out some new one. Well, they're going to be new to everybody else. They're old ones to us, but there's one called Moments in Between that's coming out very soon on all the platforms. Steady Kind Music, at Steady Kind Music, Instagram, Facebook.
Is that the one that I've been seeing clips of?
Yes.
Because I love that song. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah,
It's so catchy, and I love it. I really there's several of your songs that I love, that, but that one's really catchy, and I've been hearing it and seeing it a lot the last week, and it's a great song.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's one of our first real country songs that we wrote together, and it has a lot of visions, a lot of images in it, and that's kind of throughout our material. That's what we like to do, is paint pictures, little vignettes of life, relationships and everything else in between. So we're hoping it's gonna make an impact on even just one life. That's what we're really trying to do, is convey feeling, convey emotion.
Yeah.
And that's what I've tried to do with my own work as well. Just, create a feeling, a connection with somebody. I think that's what all artists are trying to do, is connect with people.
Yeah. So I have a question here. What we zoom back in your life, just starting out, what instruments were your favorites, and then how did you come to pick the one that is your prominent instrument now? And tell us what all of them were and what you're doing and playing on now.
Well, I started out as a percussionist as a child. I was 5 or 6. Well, you've been in town a while. You might remember Coal's music.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's where I started. I used to take drum lessons from Danny Tomlinson,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and I don't know, he was maybe 17, 18 at the time, and I it's funny when I think about the music that I started listening to. I had such an amalgam. I mean, we're talking early mid 70s, and all that fusion stuff was coming out. You had a mix of jazz, you had a mix of hard rock, you had a lot of different things. And so I started listening. Most people started listening to the Beatles and Ringo Starr. I started listening to Peter Criss. So I was, so that was I was kind of one of the Kiss Army kids, so I would listen to a lot of their music, and just the sheer power and energy is what really got me. Like a lot of people will say, the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and, I kind of got into the Beatles after Kiss. I kind of did the reverse.
Right.
I did a lot of things backwards in music, but, I started listening to my influences and their influences, so, but yeah, that's what first got me into percussion. Is I just like the raw energy of the drums. And so I started beating on anything that I could find. And I remember going over, I'd spent a lot of time with my great aunt growing up, and, I would go over there, and she had one of these entertainment centers with a record player and everything. And I introduced her to Kiss, and I think I got about 5 minutes out of that. And then she told me to take it off. But I would beat on her bar stool, and she would just set me up with the bar stool, and I'd just keep beating on that thing for probably an hour or more. And she could just go and read and do whatever she wanted, and I'd just be there beating away, And so yeah, that's kind of what I started at. And I took drum lessons for a few years there, and then I got out of it, and then I lost interest in I didn't lose interest in listening to music, but I didn't play anything for many years, until a family friend gave me a ukulele, of all things. And I remember trying to just pick out, notes, because I wasn't adept at the chords yet.
Yeah.
Still I'm not. But I can play a few more chords now than them. But I remember picking out the Beatles' Hard Day's Night, the And I Love Her, the instrumental,
Yeah.
off a Hard Day's Night. And I remember like plucking out the notes as a teenager, and I would take it with me everywhere. And at one point, my mom said, "If you don't stop playing that same song, I'm going to throw that ukulele out the window." I'm like, okay. So then I got into guitar in high school, which is primarily what I play in harmonica now. So as far as my most prominent, I would say that's probably the guitar. I've got a lot of different influences there.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first song you learned on any instrument? Like just the first song you ever really played that you played through that was, you knew that was it?
Yeah, I think probably Sugar Mountain by Neil Young.
Oh,
Oh,
That was something that I really enjoyed, his folk influences. And that's still a main influence of mine, folk rock, and all the families of bands that are under that, genre, the Southern California country rock scene.
yeah.
you've worked with some of those people. Who are some of those people that you've worked with throughout your career, and what do those moments mean to you that you've had with some of those people, and how has it shaped you as a musician?
Well, when I did my first CD, it was a lot of people that I know, and I used to follow a lot of local bands here, Major Lingo.
Yeah.
So I got Tony Bruno to play slide on one of my
Oh,
songs.
wow. That's awesome.
And that was, yeah, he made such beautiful music. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yeah, he did one of the duets that are on that album. And, so I did that. And then there was Kate Russo that used to play with
Oh, yeah.
electric violin with the Elliots that were pretty big here in town at one time.
Yeah.
And then she went on to tour with Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Yeah.
And Rusty Young, I was a big Poco fan, I got into him later in life, but through friends I got to meet Rusty Young on a few occasions, and he played pedal steel on my second CD, and for one of the country type songs that I have on there. And then a couple of years ago, I got to meet Gene Parsons of the Byrds, and the Byrds were, since I remember finding my dad's Turn 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 album, and I got really into that, and so I kind of followed their chronology through their music and their different lineups, and I learned about Gene Parsons and their drummer, I think he was their last drummer they had, and but I found that he was actually making Bender guitars, and I didn't know that, and that he still made them. I know obviously he made one for Clarence White, who was their big guitarist at the end, but so I remember corresponding with him, and I got to fly into Frisco and drive up to where he lives, and we got to hang out a little while, and he was very friendly, very humble guy, for the things that he's achieved. No ego, which is not what I expected. And just a total great guy, humble guy, nice guy. He showed me his shop, and he told me what he does, how he does it, and I got a Fender guitar, and he made a double bender for me, which I've played on several occasions, which is a lot of fun.
Cool.
Hey, I was wondering, Shawn, when you play with a woman a lot, and I actually have a couple of different projects where one is a jazz thing, and I play with Clydine Balke, and I play with Millie Davis sometimes, and the assumption always is you're a couple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you run into this assumption? And I'm pretty sure you and Rhonda aren't. But
Yeah, no, I've run into that a few times. We always kind of laugh because Rhonda's been married for many years to a great guy, Derek
Yeah.
Mast, M-A-S-T, and they've been a great couple. And Derek has been really supportive of Rhonda, and and me, and he's been always there, and so a lot of times it shows when people are doing pictures, there might be a photographer, and they'll say, "Why don't you guys get a little closer?" And I'm like, "Well, her husband's over there, so I don't want to be too forward here."
not a good idea. Hey, musically, you've talked a lot about your influences, and it definitely sounds like you've got a lot of West Coast influence with everything that was going on in the '70s. But just out of curiosity, what do you listen to now? And is there anything here in Arizona that has really struck a chord with you, as far as saying, that is some good stuff?
Well, I've been seeking out or trying to seek out newer influences as a writer. A lot of it's just you're always looking for new inspiration. So I like to go to open mics, like Waltz at the Tempe Center for the Arts. I like to go to join, to the Chill Room.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it. There's a few different ones, but it's not too far from me, and it's fun to venture down there on a Friday night and see who the new cats are coming out, and all the young talent, as Walt was referring to a minute ago. It's just amazing how some of these kids are just soaking things up, and they have some beautiful music and harmonies and stuff that you don't hear much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to kind of see where they're going, and there was a hard rock group that when Rhonda and I played a few months ago in Phoenix, and it was summer. It's called the Summer Heat Festival, and it was like right in July, and it was in this bar in downtown Phoenix, and there was one called the Band of Fools, and if any of you have heard of them, and they're great. They got a killer guitar player. Just brings back a lot of those early influences, to me. But they also do their own originals, which is really cool. And but there are several, and they're out there. I'm making an effort to seek them out. right now and just kind of see what's going on out there. Because I tend to kind of stay in my own bubble. I listen to the radio, so to some of the new country songs coming out. And, I listen to some pop once in a while and, we try to combine, we have like an amalgam of sounds we try to incorporate in our songs. So, yeah.
One of the questions I have here is you've been in Arizona for how long now?
Well, I was born here,
Oh, you're
and
born here. Okay.
so I mean
Oh, you're
1970.
the one.
So
Yeah,
you're the one person
I'm the
born here
other
in
one.
Arizona. So,
I'll
what?
go ahead and date myself, 1970.
Okay. So, that being said, uh, you've traveled in other regions and everything as well, in other music scenes throughout the United States. What are your pluses and minuses in terms of the music scene in the state of Arizona and throughout the different areas of Arizona? Like Phoenix has its scene, Tucson has its scene, Jerome and Flagstaff, they all have their own thing going on. And even Phoenix itself is broken up into regions. One side has the Latin, and the other place has the jazz, the other place has the blues, and some of it has the rock. And then you got Tempe, which is kind of a mix of everything. Um, how, what's your takeaway in everything that you've experienced when you've moved around the country in relation to the music scene and music culture here?
Well, it's interesting that you asked because I think around here I've noted a lot of diverse sounds here. When we go to Nashville, there's a lot of, country. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of sounds in Nashville, but the places that I went, it seems that everybody was more focused on country, modern country.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I mean, I've just noticed a lot more of bohemian, a lot of mixture of jazz, mixture of blues, just all the different genres. And I'd say that's the main difference
Mm-hmm.
that I've noticed. And I'm in the process of seeking out, some other places, but there's a lot to offer here.
Yeah.
If I think if you go to the right place, you can find a big diversity of sounds.
Right. So I'm going to tag on to that. This next question: when you sit and play and understand your music and songwriting and getting through your ideas, uh, and from a musicologist uh, space, where you go back to the roots of how all sound, where all sounds coming from, stuff from Africa, stuff from different places. Where do you feel you have a connection with when if you were to you know, go down that rabbit hole? What influences that do you pull from that are outside the United States and or that kind of thing?
Well, outside the United States, um, I think probably and I would have to say, from an American standpoint, probably the bluegrass, the early country,
Yeah.
um, how that evolved fascinates me,
Hmm.
and I'd love to incorporate more, kind of picking, banjos and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, the folk thing, that of course came up from Europe and Ireland and all
Yeah.
of those different stringed instruments that they use over there. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's just such it's a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but
Yeah.
the European stuff probably more the classical, although I'm not a classical musician by any stretch,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed a lot of the fusion stuff that was coming out in the late 60s with, Fairport Convention and
Yeah.
stuff that drew from all of that European roots stuff.
Yeah. That's cool.
Really interesting to me.
Well, when you said banjo, you should have been there last night at the open mic night.
Oh, yeah?
The dude, oh man, he didn't even have a pickup. Oh, he just he don't know he they just so just put a mic in front of me. He was playing rhythms on that banjo that were just so captivating. And the other gentleman that was on stage with him played cajon. And
Oh,
so
nice.
the
It
strumming
was kind of
technique,
like Deliverance meets Walt Richardson at TCA. It was, it was a lot like that.
and you could tell that this guy was the kind of musician on that banjo that would be like if it was like Jimi Hendrix on an electric. He could sit there for hours and run all these riffs, and
Oh,
you
nice.
would just sit there and go through all of it, and then you would lose track of time. And you can see he's done that with his sitting around and playing on the banjo, and the cajon player even made a comment about that. He goes, "Yeah, he can riff like that all day."
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You know
Nice.
what?
Funny
And
stuff.
it was a four-string banjo. It wasn't
Yeah,
even a five-string banjo. It
yeah,
was a four-string
Oh,
banjo, and I was like, "Holy mackerel! There is a lot of sound coming out
wow.
of that four-stringed instrument."
yeah. So
Well, it's
you
funny. Glenn asked me about contemporary artists. I think Billy Strings would have to be another one
yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
to throw in there. When we talk about, banjo and guitar, and he could probably play anything that had strings on it.
And it's interesting too, kind of what falls into that country camp these days.
Oh yeah.
There's quote unquote new country and bro country and pop country, but
Yeah.
there's also stuff like you just mentioned. And some people would even say that's maybe not country, but pigeonholing things is probably not productive, and sometimes it's hard. But stuff like Dan Kaminsky and I mean these are technically very 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 good players. Alison Krauss,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
they're
Singer.
great. And who would ever think there'd be this union between Alison Krauss and Robert Plant? And it's
Right.
kind of like, I mean, I remember the first
Yeah.
time I saw that, I said, well, how the hell is that going to work?
Yeah.
And then I listened to it and I said, yeah, it works pretty good.
The same way with like Elton John and Lady Gaga, whatever. Is that kind of thing? You go, I
Yeah,
can start seeing it, but then when you see it on stage, you go, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a rap artist now that's done a lot of things with like Luke Combs and Thomas Rhett and Ella Langley, and I would have never thought I liked it because I'm very old school country, but some of that stuff is amazing. It's really
Yeah.
amazing to listen to the collaboration and how it meshes together, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. For
Jamie,
sure.
you basically set up this interview with Shawn, and I'm sure you have some questions personally that you'd like to, ask him.
I do have a couple questions. I do want to say though, as I've got to know Sean, I remember the first time meeting him, I just thought he was so cool. I think I talked his ear off because I talk way too much. But um
You got a collection of everybody's ears because
yeah. And pictures and yeah, yeah. Um I just thought he was so cool, and I just had this really cool connection with him with music. And then over the time I've known him the last couple years, we have crossed paths so many times,
Yeah.
like literally, and didn't know it.
Hmm.
Like years ago, and we just had a conversation about an event we were both at, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I was there." And there was probably only what 100 people or something at the event, so I know I saw him.
Right?
But
Right.
yeah, but I think that's really cool because the musician world is it's big, but it's so small. And we've all crossed paths somewhere. But the one question I do want to ask you, because I've wanted to ask you this for a while, just talking with you over time, if you could tell your younger self one thing about your musical journey, what would that be?
I think perseverance is important.
Mm.
And I remember hearing a Peter Gabriel interview years ago, and he was asked the same thing, and he just said, "Don't give up." You
Yeah,
know, there's a lot of people that shoot for the stars, immediately,
yeah,
and that's something that is nice if you have that motivation or that vision in your head because it can keep you inspired, keep you motivated. But as I got older, I learned, you know what? It's just about communication and touching people.
yeah,
Even in success, to me, is making a connection with somebody emotionally.
Hmm.
If you've done
Especially
that,
as a songwriter,
then your song has done its job. You
right?
know what I mean?
Right.
Because
When
most
we
of us aren't going to be stars, but if you can connect with somebody, right, and move them,
well,
that's kind of what it's all about for
I
me.
think we're all stars in our own, and I don't mean that as a joke. I mean, people, we have a following here. Everybody that
Hmm.
plays out has their own little following,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
music is universal. So I tell
sure.
people all the time that want to hear my album, and I'm like, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't like it, because I mean,
Right,
that's just, you don't like everything. You can't
right,
like everything.
for
And
sure.
and I wanted to ask you too. I know when we spoke to Rhonda Joe, she told us a story about she was ready to quit and give up and got a phone call, probably from God, because it was kind of a weird, weird story, cool story. But
Yeah.
for you, was there ever a point where you wanted to walk away from music and just be done? And did it pull you back in, or did that not happen?
You know, interestingly, I've always had this relationship with music. I've never been on the verge of giving it up. I've put it on the back burner, like a lot of us do at some point. But it's always been there, kind of in the back of my head. It's like, keep
Mm-hmm.
playing, and, it's really got me through some pretty difficult times, but I've kept playing, and that's kind of what continues to motivate me, I think.
Yeah.
And
Do you find as a songwriter that you have lyrics somewhere that you know are never going to be, a song, but it writing them out and just doing something on your own with those lyrics got you through something, even though you know it's not going anywhere?
yeah, I remember when my mom passed away about 5 years ago, right before Christmas, I started to sit down and pen some verses. And I never finished the song. I still have it. And I think that really helped me through the grieving process a bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
You go back and look at those, or
yeah, I do. I've kind of revisited them from time to time. And I'm thinking I'm going to finish it. I still haven't finished it, but I
yeah,
enjoy going back and hearing in my mind what it could sound like if I did finish it.
yeah, because like you said, it's something that got you through, but it was your process of a songwriter, and maybe one day it'll be something, and if not, at least it was there for you at the moment. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
what Sean is? Would you say your biggest inspiration? Is it a sense of place? I know that Arizona, it's a hard place not to be inspired by. I'll be driving down the road sometimes, and having grown up in New England and then living in the Midwest, where it's a very different topographical vibe.
Yeah,
I'll just be looking around me and I go, geez, pinch me,
yeah, yeah.
or is it more relationship stuff or a kind of a combination? Where do you find your inspiration?
I find my inspiration usually in stories and experience. Um, Typically in my life and my songwriting journey so far, it's been based on both. Um, I remember reading Bob Dylan's Chronicles that he wrote, and he talked about how early in his career he would read newspapers. They would go down to the coffee shop and they'd have all these newspapers, which a lot of people don't know what those are nowadays, but and it had these magazines, and they would read all this stuff, and then he would come up with these brilliant songs. So sometimes I would just have stories in my head, and I would kind of pin it like, I envision an author pinning a short story and try to just squeeze everything into a song. And that was kind of my early philosophy. But I think it's based on a combination of both experience and just, things that I'm imagining that are floating around in my head. And I think, oh, that might be a cool thing to write about, kind of thing, you know.
What do you
So,
think is the best thing you've ever written?
oh man, that's a tough one.
I could easily. I mean, I have a much easier time. So what's the worst thing you've ever written?
Oh, yeah.
I
There's
got a
quite a few
notebook
of
full of
those.
that.
I could have a collection of the best of the worst. But I think the song I've gotten the most feedback from, thanks to Jamie Ray and other people that have heard it,
Don't say the name of my song.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
there's
just
one.
kidding.
Mine.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding.
Uh, yeah, so it was called 20 Hours from Memphis. That was the second CD that I did in about 2005, 6, 7, something like that. And it was a duet that I wrote, and it was kind of my individual first effort at really more traditional country. And so I do it with Rhonda out, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. So I'd say that's probably in terms of my roots and my influences, probably one of the best I've done, even still, myself. Um,
And
so
Jamie
yeah,
Ray and the Blindsiders are going to be doing a Shawn Royer song in 2026.
I hope so. I'm
We
looking
are.
forward to
We are.
it.
It's coming. It's
There'll
coming.
be
I'm
some.
excited
There'll be
about
some
it.
big royalties in that for you.
I
Your
hope
your
so. I'm
your
looking
your
forward to
your
it.
Spotify payoff will go from 3 cents to 6 cents. It'll
Right.
double.
There you go. There you go.
So,
Yeah.
so I have a my next question for you is basically name out some of your favorite venues that you've performed in Phoenix area, and then maybe some that you've performed in the national area. So I want to zoom out first, national places first, and then some of your favorite places here in Arizona.
Okay. Well, mainly my travels have been between Phoenix and Nashville.
Hmm.
Nashville, there's so many great venues there, so many forums for writers,
Hmm.
um, and gosh, there's I'd say the Commodore Grill is up there. The Bluebird,
Hmm.
obviously a huge venue for songwriters
Have you played there?
nationwide, worldwide.
Have you played there, Bluebird?
We did, Rhonda and I did get to play there a couple of years ago.
Good.
And boy, we met people from all over the world. I
Yeah.
mean, England and,
Yep.
Yeah.
just other places. People fly there. And so that was a great one. Those two venues in Nashville, I think here it would probably have to be the Rhythm Room.
Hmm.
One of my favorites going back. I've seen so many good shows, and it felt like such a great, privileged place to perform
Yeah.
and share the stage, with people that I've always loved, you
Yeah.
know.
I think
So,
one of the thing about the Rhythm Room is the venues back in the 80s and 90s here, and even the 70s, the rooms were small.
Mm.
And it held what, 50 to, maybe 80 people in it, and packed.
Mm.
And you sat right up to the stage, basically. And that was the charm.
mhm.
And then when those rooms started expanding, the ones that did, now you've got twice as much of the space to fill, and those same 50 people or 20 people come in there, and it looks like the club is half empty instead of half full, you know. Um,
Yeah.
the rhythm room is one of those that has never really expanded at all. If anything, all they've really done is changed out the area where it was a dressing room back there in the back where you load in. That's that doesn't reflect the floor space of the main area. And before it was a rhythm room, it was a Purple Turtle. I don't know if you remember those days, and it was a pool hall.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
okay.
a pool hall. It had two, it was all lit up and everything. I got another story about that, but it's your interview. So, the rhythm room is a real nice place to see your favorite artists up front and get that
Mhm.
kind of that rustic feeling of having the privilege of seeing them right there, and you're right in front of them from any seat in the house, you know,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
can
for
get packed
sure.
in there really quick,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
And
a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, another place I really enjoyed playing here in Tempe, the Yucca Tap Room.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That's
It's just
another
a great
that's another
local
space
spot.
for the same, yeah, for the same reason. Uh, Both of those offer the stages offer visibility, great visibility from any point in the room.
Mm,
And
yeah, for sure.
you would think that the venues going forward would have, you know, smaller bars and things like that going forward would keep that kind of framework in mind. But things have changed in terms of how we socialize. And so their floor space, they're using it to make sure they can maximize as much as they can from the floor space. So putting a 3 foot stage in there or 2.5 foot stage in there for a band, and that floor space isn't going to be used for people sitting and talking during the rest
Yeah,
of the time. So they're kind of like, ah. So, you know, the band's really, a stage is like the afterthought
yeah,
of these places and everything, you know.
yeah. I
We,
can't tell you how many places through the years, like, when we go into this little tiny bar and, we're looking for some kind of a stage, no matter how big it is. And
right.
they're like, oh, it's over there in the corner. So
Yeah.
we're here, clearing out tables and
Hmm.
moving things and
You know,
setting our own little corner up. And.
I will tell you this. One of the funniest things is when you go into an area to play and they have tables and then they have booths. And they say, oh, yeah, we're going to move that table out of the booth area. And that's where you guys play.
Right.
Or there's that famous place in Madison, Walter, that
Yes.
you and I both played,
Yes.
where they'd put a plank up on top of the pool
Pool
table
tables.
and say, "There you go, guys,
So we had
hop on up."
a 6 piece band on top of two pool tables with
I
plywood on it.
love that.
That's rustic, man. That's Wisconsin rustic right there,
It
Love
boy.
is.
that.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, this has
I
really been.
remember when I played with Rhonda several years ago in Illinois, and we were in one of her favorite neighborhood clubs there, and it's really a sports bar. And we went in there, and we had several milk cartons, with plywood that got us up maybe 3 or 4
Ooh.
feet up,
Ooh.
and so we're like, okay, we'll play here if you say so.
Ooh. That's scary.
Welcome to the land of Lincoln.
Yeah,
Oh my God. That's scary.
Well,
Hey,
Sean,
that's how
Mike.
I
thank you
remember it
thank you
anyway.
so much for agreeing to come on today. And
Yeah.
just before we let you go, I want to ask you too, where can folks find your stuff, and then find you or you and out and about.
Well, we're Rhonda and Freddie and I are doing several gigs coming up. We're hoping to do another one of Walt's open mics at the Tempe Center for the Arts. Our music is we have at Steady Kind Music, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So you could find our little videos that we're putting out now, doing some promo stuff. You can find me, Shawn Royer, on YouTube. I have a channel there, Shawn Royer Music, so you can find all the stuff that I've done, and
Nobody go there because I've got songs that are mine. Don't go to that one. They're mine.
Oh, sometimes doing
they're,
this
they're
show
going
is
to be yours, that's
exhausting.
for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate you coming on in, and I learned a ton, and it's going to be nice now when I see you out and about, and this nice thing about this community we have is it is a community, and we end up seeing everybody
Yeah.
along the road somewhere. Now I'll just have a better context for what you're doing and how you do it. So
Yeah.
Well,
really
thank you.
appreciate you coming by.
And I want to mention one thing that I kept picking up while we were talking is that we've been getting so many wonderful interviews from these musicians here, and especially with you, Sean. And we always learn more about each artist and their life and what's going on. And I'm saying you and I need to sit down and cross paths over coffee a lot more. and that
But
would
Walt
like
is going to
that.
make you buy it,
But
just so you know.
so, just so thanks, Glenn.
You're
Thanks for the
welcome.
reminder.
Yeah.
Um, so just a
I
heads
would
up.
love that. We should meet at Harlow's one day.
That sounds great. And here's the deal.
All
Here's the
right.
deal. I'm starting to see something that can happen with this desert vibes, where after we get enough people together, we can have a desert vibes concert and feature all the people who have been on the show, the episodes, and then they can display the things that they've talked about, especially the songs and all of that coming up. This is just what is hitting me right now. And so I look forward to having you definitely be a part of that as we
Thank you.
as we now that I just brought it up, we can go off and have a meeting about it.
My mind just blew up.
It
I've
just
already
is
got it
you,
organized.
you do. I know you
Oh,
do.
I do.
So
Right.
thank you so very much for blessing us.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you,
for blessing
Sean.
me. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. It's great.
We will catch you on the road somewhere. Thank you so much. Shawn Royer, that was really a
But
nice interview.
that was a lot of fun.
Learned a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Well,
He's a cool dude.
we always do learn so much from these artists, even though we know them
Yeah.
out on the streets, out and about. I think something about the being able to sit down and talk the way that we do, and we get a deeper dive into the stories, things that have been important for them along their journey, and the more people get a chance to see that, just because of the nature of this podcast. And I think that's important these days because we all have our stories.
Yep.
And when we get a chance to hear the stories, there's a deeper part of like a connection in our humanity
Hmm.
that that surfaces. And when that does, it's always very healing to me. And it lets us know that, man, all of our stories are beautiful and
I think that
important.
people respect songwriters' music more when they can understand them as a person too.
Exactly. Yep.
It just comes across different, and
Well,
it
Right.
there's context, and I think
yeah,
Yep.
context is always an important element
yeah,
Yeah.
in almost anything.
Right.
right.
And when you understand that context, there's a lot more that you can a lot more
Hmm.
information actually that you get when you consume someone's art.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of that idea?
I'm already got notes. I'm
I
ready. We'll
think
do it
yeah,
at
having Jamie
TCA.
Ray put the whole thing together is an awesome idea.
I've already got it ready. We'll have a
I'll
live
show up.
Desert Vibe podcast with the concert on the TCA stage.
She's
I'm
got the
on it.
T-shirt designed already.
I do. I'm on it. I got the backdrop next week.
Right.
Next week, my backdrop is going to be the Desert Vibe
See,
concert.
there you go.
I
What
think
about
that's
Desert
So
Vibapalooza?
love it. Oh my gosh, Glenn! I'm writing that down.
See, this is
Yes,
why I make the huge money here,
just right.
Love
right?
it. I
I
wish I
saw.
made that money.
Oh yeah, he must be spending it somewhere because it
Yeah,
doesn't show up.
Yeah.
I
No.
haven't got a check. Why is Walt getting all the checks? I don't get
Hey, did you say checks or chicks?
both.
No.
I ain't seen nail one of them. Okay, a check
Well,
and
I
a
send
chick.
you a check every week. I know Eric Ramsey does too. So
But
That's
what a
right.
rich life we lead,
yeah,
right? I
Right.
mean, who needs money when you got this?
That's what I said.
Right?
I was talking to my landlord about the same thing.
I bet you were.
Who needs money? When we just-
I just need a microphone. That's all I
Where
need.
where's your
you don't even
rent?
need that.
Yeah.
No, I
Where's
don't.
your
Okay,
rent?
just speaking of microphones, um, um, what's her name? Emma, and
Oh, she's
And
got my
James.
microphone.
she went and bought the microphone. She went and bought one of your microphones, and
I
Oh
she
know.
yeah,
already
yeah.
came up
She
to me and says,
one of those old, sure, like the Elvis.
she says, she goes, yes, but mine isn't what, a condenser mic or something. It doesn't need phantom power and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. She says, I already know from Jamie Ray that you don't like these mics, Walt, and blah 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 blah. She went on like that. And then what was it? Harmonica Dan showed up last night with the same kind of microphone, but he had the first one that was ever made, and that thing was so
It was
heavy.
like the Fred Flintstone version.
It was,
It was,
you know how
He
that.
had Elvis's real mic.
Look. Here's what it was. It was made out of battleship metal. Okay, it was that intense, and it weighed as much as those round mic stand bases.
I
You
have
know,
that.
yeah,
it
it
took
weighed.
two TCA crew members to get it up on stage.
He had that thing, and I go, dang, dude, you got this thing up there, and you got this little light harmonica you're gonna blow into it. I said,
And he weighs about 80 pounds wet, you
I
know?
know. I said, you're gonna cramp up out here with this thing.
Yeah, that was.
So,
Do you know
so
Chainsaw Dave? That was Chainsaw Dave.
yeah, chainsaw day. So
Yeah.
he had the cable was just as old as a mic, and
It's like cloth cable.
no, it was gray. They don't use the gray plastic anymore on those cables because they don't roll up very well, and the amount
They
of
don't roll
length
up at all.
they don't roll up at all, and so this thing was looking like Charlie Brown's kite string, and we're trying to stretch it out to hook it into the board. We get through all of that while we're setting up, and now I'm doing the sound check, and I go, okay, go ahead, and blow into your harmonica. He's over there blowing, and we're not getting no signal at all, and it's like, oh man! After we went through all of that, I said, let's get him a regular mic. Okay, Walt, we do that. We get a regular mic, and he dropped that thing down, and everybody heard it. Clunk. That was him coming through the
In
system.
effect, he was blowing his harmonica into a paperweight.
Wait. So,
That's why I have muscles though when I'm lifting my.
right.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh my,
realize it weighs like 15 pounds. I didn't even
yeah.
know
Oh
that.
my God.
But they're
Like
pretty.
it's yeah. So anyway,
I don't have Fountain Power on anymore. I don't use the cloud lifter anymore, so it'll be easier for everybody. I don't have to
so what
worry
do you
about
mean?
that.
It has a button that
No,
for
I had an actual cord that I can plug
oh
into it, a cloud
oh
lifter that'll
okay.
requires the Phantom Power, but I don't use it anymore because everybody complains about it.
Yeah, he was asking me about a special connection to put that the quarter inch in,
Yeah.
and I was like, we have quarter inch holes in boards. We don't need to put an adapter on that to make it anything
A
else. He was,
different.
okay, well, okay.
Oh,
It
I
changed.
love it. I
So
love it. I
yeah,
started something. Everybody's got my mic now.
See,
yeah. Well,
I
you.
love Emma. Emma told me that. She sent me a message. She goes, "It's been really weighing on me. I just want to tell you, I didn't want to buy your mic, but I ended up buying it."
well, she got two of them. She got two
I,
mics, one like
yeah,
that and one. So they're doing a private party for God, what's his name?
Gary.
Gary. And so we had the meeting the other day, and I went in there and talked and everything. And so I
See
told
how I
Gary,
know everything?
oh, well, I know you know everything. And so I'm telling Glenn this
Yeah, I
story.
don't know anything. Freaking clueless.
I'm telling Glenn this story. You
Okay,
can
I'll mute myself.
you can make a cup of tea while I'm doing this, okay? Or check me for accuracy. All right. So Gary, I come in there. They've already been there for a while, and Gary, when I walk up, it takes him a while to answer the door. And Gary he opens the door and we walk in, and Emma and James are walking from like the back end of the house. And Gary's been taking them on a tour of his house. Is basically what it was. And so, first thing he's saying to me is, "How you doing, Walt?" Da, 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 and everything. And I'm wanting to get right down to business because I know how Gary can tell you about 15 different things that have nothing to do with the thing you're talking about, but he's going to try to dovetail it in there.
He's
So,
like a male Jamie Ray.
so we sit down there.
That's why I get along with him so well.
I
I
think
love
so. You
Gary.
guys you got to get along with him because you never
I,
get to the point. You got to figure out what the hell you started the
I'm
conversation off
hanging
about.
up.
No, you don't. So, he sits down. We sit down. I pull out. We got pad and paper. He's got pad and paper. And all I need to know is where you want the PA system. That's it. And then I'm good to go. Now he starts talking about. He goes, well, we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have that, and the other thing." And he pulls out this paper that is a menu of the caterers, and he goes, "I'm gonna have this thing cater." I said, wait. I said, "Let's get to the point. I don't have that much time." And
Where do I put the
so
speaker?
he starts. He puts it away. Emma and James are laughing. And so then Gary starts to talk and he goes, "Well, I was just showing them the tour of the house and everything while you were here and everything. And I can show it to you." I said, "Gary."
You know what's funny? Walt, you've done that to me, Jamie. I know that look.
So he goes ahead and gets to the point. We get everything done and everything. And then I open my big mouth and say, and say to him, Gary makes guitars and make ukuleles and everything, and he's got a shop here. And he goes, "Yeah, I haven't ever shown anybody my shop." And I said, "Well, let's see it." I should have stopped. Something was telling me, don't. I was trying to put the brakes on all my words. Now he gets up and he takes us into the shop, which is his garage. Now he's got to apologize about the condition the garage is in because he moved some stuff in there, which is okay. And oh my God, we were in there looking at wood pieces and how he slices them by hand and everything like that, which is good
Wow.
stuff. I mean, it's
Wow.
really, really good stuff.
Did
Then
you
I
ever
start,
learn where you were going to put the sound system?
yeah, I
Or did
did.
you
I did.
leave? Did you
I
leave and go, "Hey, I
wait a
never
minute.
found out where to put the sound system," you know?
No, but we did go through an interesting pricing kind
Mhm.
of thing, how to do this, how to do the pricing thing. And that was just funny. The bantering back and forth is like I'm trying to get out of him what is your budget? And he's getting back to me about what's fair to you. And I go, "These days, boy, it's rough. You don't know what's fair with me, man, because I'll bankrupt this thing, man."
Yeah,
And
let's
I'm not
go.
even playing. I'm just hooking stuff up. Everyone's playing.
What's fair to me?
And
Pay me in
Emma says,
doubloons. That's
Emma
what's fair
says,
to me.
and Emma says, "Well, what we were gonna do is just pay you, Gary, what you needed, and then Walt, if it wasn't enough that he was paying you, we were gonna put something on top of this." And I go, "Ooh, man, this is gonna really be nice. I can make a couple of months' rent on this kind of
I
deal
can I
here."
can help.
We're talking frosting now, boy.
I can help. I won't even need a mic.
Yeah.
And
I'll
and
just carry stuff.
he's got a baby grand piano that sits in
Oh,
the middle
sweet.
of the floor that he's talking about moving, which is cool. And it's like, okay, move that. But then it had to go into a story of how he blew his knee out trying to move it. And it's like, dude, you can't,
Oh,
don't
God.
try to move big things like that in your house at your age right now, because it's not working like that.
I have trouble moving myself at this age, let alone grand
You
pianos.
know,
I mean,
hey, you see how Annie Moscow has downsized with her keyboard, right?
right? She
She's
keeps getting
walking with
small.
that
It's,
thing.
it's like it got hit by the shrink ray,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
sounds damn
she
good.
it is really good. She
It
went on
sounds
there,
damn good.
got it
Yeah.
off of what, Sweetwater or
Something like
Amazon or
that.
something
Yeah,
like
she
that,
got candy.
and popped it down. Now she can carry that thing, everything under one arm.
And
I
which is
So,
love
great
her.
because I would always try to time my arrival at TCA not to coincide with her because
oh
it would
yeah,
mean that I'd be carrying stuff in.
yeah, yeah, because
And
you're
now it's
walking.
not an issue. I can arrive
Yeah,
whenever.
I see everybody helping her carry that aircraft carrier and a
Right.
case that she used to have and dragging
With
it from the parking
wheels
lot
and
with
motors
wheels.
and lifts and
I love her. I'm glad you brought her up because she's our guest on January 15th.
Good,
oh,
good,
cool.
good,
I'll be
good.
doing a show with her soon. Wait,
Are
do
you?
we want to talk about what's going on? Speaking of shows,
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Live,
do we
loud,
let's
and
want to do that?
local.
All right.
Yes, we
live
do.
loud local.
Live,
Good.
loud, and local. In Tucson, I want to bring up Tucson because we don't talk too much about Tucson, and they have a lot going on out there in Pima County. If you go to their visitor center, it's visitsouthern.arizona.com, all written out, and they have an events page. They have got a really cool event out in their courtyard, the music courtyard. It's Wednesday and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free music. every Wednesday, every Friday out in the courtyard. Runs through May 22nd. When it starts getting warmer, but it is so cool. They've got jazz, they've got Latino, they've got, I mean, you name the music, and it's all local. Such a great fun event. So Wednesdays and Fridays out there in Tucson, look that up. Out in Queen Creek, my hometown, the food truck, Friday food truck, it's every Friday all year long, unless there's some kind of weird event going on. But every Friday out there, they've got the food truck events, and the Blindsiders will be there on the 9th, January 9th, Friday, and the 23rd of January. So come on out and get some great food and come hear the Blindsiders. The Windmill Winery has music, live music in the barn and in the lake house. They've got great music there. And the Blindsiders will be there Saturday as well. The Olive Mill has music. The Olive Mill is a great event. They've got stuff going on all the time. They just had Olive Palooza a few weeks ago and live music all the time. And Blindsiders will be there January 11th. I love plugging the Blindsiders. But there is always music at the Olive Mill, the Windmill Winery. There's stuff going on out here. And like I said, Tucson, look it up. Visit southernarizona.com. They've got some really cool stuff going on in Tucson.
Is that going back to Chandler area, that place where Eric Ramsey plays? What's the name of that one right there?
Oh, in Queen Creek,
Yeah, in Queen
the
Creek.
Ellsworth Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And right across the street, now Eric's there every Thursday, third Thursdays.
Okay.
He's there every month. But right across the street, they have the Badlands. Guess who plays at the Badlands?
You guys?
Blindsiders.
Only
Yeah,
bad,
it's a really
only
cool.
bad bands.
Yeah, well, you know,
So is that a new venue?
it is. It's new.
Okay,
They
because I think it used to be
it
one
was a
over here in Tempe,
yeah.
and they closed
Well,
down.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it actually where it's at now was a bar. It's been there for years, the building, and it's changed hands a few times. And
Huh.
Badlands opened up yet last year. It's a really
Okay,
cool. It's a
cool.
nice little restaurant.
Yeah, it
Great
is.
food.
Yeah, the
Great
food
food.
is good there.
And of course, when the Blindsiders are there, but they have
Yeah.
music Friday and Saturday nights, and it's
I
really
lose my appetite at that point, but okay.
So,
it's okay.
uh,
Nobody pays attention to us when we play there anyway.
okay. So, we have to let our listeners know that pretty soon we're going to have a website up that will um, have more of this information, what's going on throughout the state, as far as music and festivals and events and things like that. So, what's happening here in Tempe, if you're catching this program before the end of the month, is the Mill Music Sessions over at the Hayden Flour Mill is coming up on the 30th. I think the last one is the 30th. And
31st.
31st. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be it's going
January
to be
31st.
yeah, January 31st. There's three great bands that's playing on that show as well. I think that these series at the Hayden Flour Mill have been picking up. Another venue that's coming on board with some kind of like medium-sized concerts is the Hackett House
Mm.
in Tempe, and they're going to be displaying art as well as having music there. So there's those two things right off the top of my head. Of course, you have the open mic night that's at the Tempe Center for the Arts every Wednesday night, and there's also another open mic night that is at the what is it called, the Dark Star
Mm.
on Mill Avenue on Wednesday nights. That one goes later than the one at the TCA. TCA goes from like 5 to 10 at the latest.
Hey, well,
And
I just picked something up actually. It was just this morning, and I was going to ask you about it anyway because it has to do with the Dark Star. I read somewhere, it was probably on the internet, so it most certainly is true, that
most
the
certainly
dark
is
the
true.
Dark Star is going to be closing, and they have not had their lease renewed because they're expected to vacate the whole building there, and the city is going to buy it as a historic property. And I don't know what the city's going to do with it, but if you're a fan of that space, it certainly sounds like something's afoot.
Okay, so that makes sense because it is a historic building in the first place. Okay, it used to be a bank for a while, and it's got some really, really, really neat rooms and cubby holes and all that kind of stuff inside of it. It doesn't surprise me. Thank you for the update on that. Um, but I would be excited to see what they
What
put
the city would
in
do with
there
it. Yeah.
in the place of it because
Maybe
it's always set
they'll
up
make a
as a
Walt
nice
Richardson
venue.
shrine. Another, your plaque can be on the front,
Right.
picture and everything.
As long as they got a picture of Lily in there somewhere,
Somewhere. Okay,
that's
that's all.
it's gonna work. It's gonna
Would
work.
it would
Sister
temper, but
Lil.
it's a very cool space, and
It
I
is.
was
Yeah, it is.
and it's really kind of catered to the to the EDM crowd. Electronic dance music
Yeah.
is kind of what their thing has been, and it's exciting when the city takes steps, to keep Mill Avenue great.
Right.
But on the other hand, I know there are going to be a lot of EDM fans that are kind of like,
Well,
where
I
are we going to
think
go now? You know?
and and I'm not an expert at this part, but from my feel of what being on Mill Avenue is like now, and over the history that I've been on Mill Avenue since the '70s, it seems like we're entering a new phase of what is current and what is hip, and it seems like to me that the seeing a live performance is what's starting to come back into play. So people who have been, it's like these artists that were on stage last night that are bringing their music up. People are interested in that because there's a crossover from those younger people that are producing and performing and writing when they get a chance to see like older musicians who are singer songwriters, it seems like they gravitate to each other really, really quick. It's almost like the grandparents and the grandkids kind of thing. If I was, and they're all enjoying each other because they get it or something. You see what I'm
Or in
trying
your
to say?
case, like the great grandparents
Yeah, that's in your case.
and the children.
The great greats and the great greats.
And the new
The great
one, the
the great
babies.
greats and the great grands. I love that. The babies are amazing.
Yeah, they
Uh,
are.
they are so amazing. All right. Well, that's this part right here. We'll have more information up on the website as time. That should be coming up this month, I think.
Soon, really
Yeah.
soon. And
So,
want to thank Emma and James
yeah.
for helping us out and being part of this team. There's this that you see, and then there's a back end that you don't really see, and they've done some phenomenal work in helping push this thing out, and will continue to do so with a new website, and that should be soon. So we'll keep you posted here, but Central and West, there is really just a ton going on these days. There's the stuff we've talked about: Arizona Live Music Cooperative Monday nights at Enchilada, and Tuesday night nice open mic at North Mountain Brewing Company. But there's some other bigger stuff going on. The Arizona Songwriters Gathering is Saturday, January 31st. That is full, but not from a spectator standpoint. And generally, there's some great information there from ASCAP, BMI. They have the copyright office there. I think it was last year, so you can get some really good information there as a songwriter on how to deal with our craft, kind of on the technical side. Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival. Interestingly enough, it happens in Glendale. At Saguaro Ranch on February 28th and March 1st, and that is full too. But they have a wait list, and festivals, people generally sometimes don't show up. So if you get yourself on a wait list, you might get to play anyway. But certainly a great spectator event. Eric Ramsey, who's been a guest on this show, I'm going to be playing with him Sunday, January 11th at North Mountain Brewing Company. That
All
should be
right.
some fun. And in Central Phoenix, again, we were just earlier talking a little bit about EDM, and one of the big EDM events in Phoenix history had kind of ceased to exist maybe 10, 15 years ago, and that was the Red Monkey thing. I don't know if you guys remember that. But it was kind of the staple of Phoenix's whole electronic dance scene, mid 90s through maybe, I don't know, 2010 and through there somewhere. Well, they have announced via social media that that's coming back. And they haven't announced necessarily where it's going to be, but the indication is maybe the Red Monkey's coming back. And it's interesting, things come and things go. So, there's an EDM club that apparently, it sounds like, is going to be going away in Tempe, but it looks like Central Phoenix maybe is going to pick one up. So there's, yin and yang on that stuff. We have this little venue out here on the west side of the valley called State Farm Stadium. And there is something happening there in April.
That place is just way too small.
Isn't it? You were talking about those intimate venues, and that that is probably the most intimate venue in the valley.
I don't know how they play a football game inside of it.
Right? I mean, But interestingly enough, Bruno Mars just announced the week that we're recording this show his tour schedule for the spring, and he hasn't toured in a while. And I have to say, of folks out there on the national scene, when you talk about someone who's done a really cool job of synthesizing many different sounds into something that is obviously incredibly commercially viable, I don't know if there's anybody better than Bruno Mars. He can dance, he can sing, he is all that, and he's a real musician.
He's been doing it since he was 3.
He's a real musician.
Yeah.
And he did that Silk Sonic stuff a few years ago. I mean, if that didn't sound like something coming out of Philly in 1978, it was just close the door and great stuff. Anyway, the second stop on his tour is going to be at State Farm Stadium in April 14th, and anymore, I'm not a huge fan of stadium shows. And the cost, I have no idea what tickets are going to be, but I mean, tickets to shows these days, particularly those stadium, big shows, really seem to be kind of outrageous. But that's one that in the back of my head, I'm thinking about, maybe I should see that show, because it's
Cool.
It's just going to be a cool show. But obviously, we talk about a lot of the smaller venues, but every once in a while something hits Phoenix that is.
Well, the thing about this podcast was there's people right here on this podcast that has connections to tickets. All you do is sit there and talk to Jamie Ray. She'll get you in there.
Oh yeah, can you
Jamie
give me a
could
couple
get
of
you-
comps,
she
Jamie
could
Ray?
get you
Everybody in the
Fort-
world's going to be calling me.
Look,
Yeah,
she can
give me a
get
couple
you
of
into
comps to
Fort
that
Knox.
Bruno Mars.
She can get you into Fort Knox. I don't know how she does it, but she knows somebody.
You know how she does it? And I learned this from my concert promotion days. If you walk around and you have a clipboard, you can go
And
anywhere
a
you
business
want.
card.
You go anywhere you want, and then you look a little bit annoyed
Yeah.
when you're walking around with a clipboard.
Glenn.
You go anywhere you go.
Glenn,
Glenn.
wait a minute. This is so true. Let me tell you really quick. I'm 15 years old. My dad takes us to Vegas. He always took us to shows there. Saw some great shows there. But he took us to see Kenny Rogers. I'm 15. Love Kenny Rogers, okay? So I found a way. I found out where he was going to be eating dinner after the show. And I told my dad, I said, I'm meeting Kenny Rogers. I'm meeting him. And my dad's, okay, huh? Okay, you're meeting Kenny Rogers. Well, he went to the show, or he did a show. We were sitting in front. I think I'm, no Kenny Rogers just because I'm sitting there. After the show, I escape from my parents, go up to the restaurant that was closed down, red rope closed, had already spoke to the maitre d', got in. He's having dinner with his beautiful wife and 10-year-old son at the time. Jamie Ray walks up to him and says, Kenny, I'd like to meet you. I want to just introduce myself because you're going to be giving me the Entertainer of the Year award one day. And he just looked at me and said, I hope I do, hon. I hope I do. So 5-6 years later, he's playing in Laughlin. Guess who hoofs it down to Laughlin? Guess who remembered Jamie Ray? I was backstage before you knew it.
I had his chicken once.
Just
It
gotta
wasn't
know
that
how to
good.
talk to him. You just gotta know. It's the look, like you said. I just go, yeah, like I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
the other
husband hates it. He hates to
well,
go anywhere with me.
well, the other thing that you can do to get anywhere is two people carrying a ladder.
Mm, that's a
No,
good
you
one.
gotta carry like drumsticks or something. You just
No,
gotta have your instrument
just
or.
two people carrying a ladder can walk through anything in
Yeah.
any place at any time. Really.
And
Just
So
Jeremy has
there's a
those. Jeremy
couple.
has those vests, so I can put one of those vests
There's a
on.
couple of tips as to if you don't want to pay to go to a big stadium show or something. Get a clipboard, get a ladder, get to know Jamie Ray a little bit better. And I'm putting my order in Jamie Ray because I would like to go to that show, but I would not like to pay to go to that show.
I
but
don't pay to go to shows.
well
I
he
never pay.
well
I'm
look here.
spoiled.
She'll find out where Bruno is eating afterwards.
I will.
We'll
And
probably
And
be
we'll have
eating at
dinner.
Kenny Rogers Chicken.
You don't know. He loves it. You don't know.
you know.
Anyway, there's a ton going on. This has been a really fun edition. Big thanks to Shawn for joining us. We do this podcast every week. We release a new podcast, generally on Thursdays, and we really appreciate the growth and the support and all the kind words that people have been tossing our way as this thing gets some legs and starts rocking and rolling. And apparently, we're going to be doing some kind of festival. I learned today
Yeah.
that Jamie Ray will be coordinating. And if you want to come, just grab a ladder. And
No, I know that game. I know that game.
I know
Man,
you know that game.
man, you see people out there. Everybody have a ladder on top of their vehicle, pulling into the parking lot.
There you go.
They say, "No,
Where'd you hear
y'all
about
ain't,
this? Well, this
y'all
is
ain't getting
podcast.
in." I know the podcast is popular, but some of that
Yeah.
information, y'all are just wasting your
And all
time.
of a sudden, Staples, they're going to be out of clipboards, you know.
I don't know why you said that. My phone has just been ringing and people are calling now, texting, ringing.
Well, with that, I think it's safe for us to say I'm Glenn Gardner.
I'm Walt Richardson.
I'm Jamie Ray.